Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning and welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk. I'm an integrative health practitioner. And last week we talked about what integrative health was. So if you'd like to find out, please go to YouTube to the Reinvented Life Network. And there's a whole podcast on that. And I didn't want to take a lot of time on explaining what I do because today is a very special day. It is my 1-year anniversary of Hello, Your Health is Calling. And I believe last week or the week before that, I was saying that there was 30 some odd podcasts, but actually there are probably closer to 52 podcasts. So I was a little wrong, how time flies. And it's been such an incredible journey for me personally. It's been a wonderful platform for me to help anybody who's listening understand about natural health and how your body works and how you can take steps towards your health without pharmaceutical intervention. And it's just been such a great journey. And I have to give a huge thank you to the Reinvented Life Network for giving me this opportunity and offering this opportunity to me, because it's just been an incredible journey. And so today I'm going to have as my guest Pamela Chanel David, who is the founder of the Reinvented Life Network. And she is the guru of reinvention, if you will. She's been my mentor, become a very dear friend, and she actually has had a lot to do with my own personal transformation in this world of entrepreneurship. I left corporate America after 30 some years. And so, we all need trainers, whether it's a physical trainer, a mental trainer, we need trainers. And she is just a wonderful transformational trainer. And so I'm going to bring Chanel on, and we're going to have a conversation about transformation. And I wanted to use this anniversary show to just talk about transformation in every single part of your life, because I always say we are one being and we have to take care of every part of our being. So welcome to the show, and thank you personally for all of your mentorship and just everything that it has meant to me in our, I don't know, we're probably going on 2 years, I would imagine, relationship. So happy anniversary to us too.
Yes. Well, happy anniversary to you. I cannot believe here we are at the end of March of 2025 celebrating your 1-year anniversary. I mean, this is so exciting, and I have to just give that. And I received that thank you, and I receive all of what you're saying, but I really have to give it back to you, because to make the kind of transformation that I have been honored and witness to, you're really, reinvention is the perfect word for you in the last year. Particularly, like you said, we've been working together for a couple of years now,
Yep.
but to watch you as a host of your show, developing a show, creating content for your show, you have really more than risen to the occasion. And to make the kind of transformation that you've made, there needs to be, first and foremost, a willingness, a real willingness to explore and take a deep dive into not just what you do, but you always hear me say how you are being. And
Mhm.
we are human beings, not human doings.
Mhm.
Everyone can do the checklist, everyone can take the to do list and knock off the items on there. It's a whole other level, a whole other elevation of one's frequency to be able to take the knowledge that one has and yourself going back years and years and years now with a corporate career, but at the same time, a huge interest and knowledge of integrative health and bring it forward
Yeah.
and use your voice to literally not just transform and help others transform, but starting with yourself. So
Mhm.
kudos to you, really.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's been such a journey, and you've been there in all of the highs and lows, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's been such a journey, and you were so right. You hit it on the head. Whenever you're entering into any kind of a transformational journey, you have to have a willingness. And it is a willingness also sometimes to sacrifice or put away the things that you're so used to.
Mhm.
And that, they become comfortable and they become a way of life. And I think that, when I talk to people who are trying to transform their health, it is putting off the old and just trying to make room for something new. And we don't want to do that. I've done so many podcasts about mindset, and it's you got to get your mind right. It's kind of an
Well,
adventure.
it's pretty simple when you think about it. You can't create something new with the old material. In other words, the willingness is not just the wanting to transform, but as you just mentioned, really the ability and, as a guide for that, for so many people, a coach and a guide of this type of transformation, it's really a four part, and we talk about this all the time,
Mhm.
a four-part roadmap, if you will, to get there. And it's really to explore all four aspects of your life. Because in your case, not only were you developing a business and involved the business and finance part of your life, but it involved your health and your wellness and your personal part of your life and that of the greater community. So you really took a willingness in all four of those categories and created a life map that had a new set of destinations. And what's
Mhm.
beautiful about it is now, as I mentioned, I'm able to be witness to you doing that with your clients.
Mhm.
You establishing with your clients where they are so that they're very keenly aware of the type of progress and
Mhm.
roadmap that they want to take to get where they want to go. So I think it's a perfect kind of place to start the discussion that we're on a year, we're at your anniversary show. It's beautiful. Like you said, you are close
Mhm.
to having 50 shows. I mean,
Mhm.
when you think about it, each week you creating that content and bringing it forward. But really, more than that, it's the message that you feel each and every time you're talking. And I think what I would start with is the importance of bringing your message forward. And to bring your message forward, you have to start with bringing yourself forward.
Mhm.
So I'd love to hear, and I'm sure our listeners and our viewers would love to hear, what was that like for you to start this journey of creating Hello, Your Health is Calling in the show?
You know, I never even thought about what it would be like. It was just like you threw this out to me. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. It was it was a journey that I was very unsure of. And when I started, this entrepreneurship coming out of corporate, I didn't know what I was doing. And there were people brought forward that were supposed to help, but did not. But then again, I found you, so that was great. But the journey has been one of discovery. It's been one of persistence, consistence, and a little fun fact about me is I am a gigantic procrastinator. And, you sent me that article that talked about, alphabetizing your spice rack because it's something that needs to be done and you perceive it as something, but, you're not really doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, doing this show, I would always, like the first couple shows, I was so anxious. I just, the self-confidence wasn't there. I didn't know if anybody would care about what I had to say. I didn't think that I could talk long enough to fill up 30 minutes, which it's funny because sometimes the producers have to come on and say, wrap it up. And, it's just been such an incredible journey of discovery, that I can do this and I have something really important to share. And my own life is the example, really, of having gone through this health journey myself and with my daughter. And, being a procrastinator, you don't really stick with things. And so, as I was sharing with you yesterday, sticking with something for 1 year, creating content every single week and presenting it, and even when you feel like quitting and nobody's listening, you have all those feelings and fears, if you will. But just getting to this point has just proven to me that I can complete something, even though I'm not done. And that, even when you feel like quitting, you just keep moving. It's like one foot in front of the other. And I think with any journey that you're on, you have those moments of, why am I doing this? What is it even doing? Am I even going to be successful? And that, I hear that over and over again with my clients too. And it's just one of those things that you just keep going. And that, you know, that's been such a lesson for me. And that's what I coach people on. And so, taking my own advice.
Well, and when I think back literally a year to your first shows, from day one, and we've talked about this, your content was remarkable from day one. In other words, you have so much to offer people in terms of integrative health. And really, to translate that in layman's term, you've become a health concierge for
Mhm.
individuals. And much like when one would go on a trip or they would go to a hotel and they would visit the concierge in the lobby, it's very personalized what that journey looks like for you as a traveler. And so I love the notion that you have the ability to become that concierge for individuals that really want to approach the most important
Mhm.
piece of one's life, which is their health. Because we often say and we often hear, without one's health, it's not as joyful of an
Mhm.
experience of life, right? And so bringing this show forward and bringing people an awareness level that they may not have of alternatives to Western medicine or combinations with Western medicine
Right.
is brilliant, because people may hear the term integrative health, but they don't know what that is.
Right.
And so you mentioned the journey starting with your daughter's health, who
Mhm.
is, she's absolutely thriving today,
Mhm.
and thank goodness. But if you go back 18, 19 years, 15 years, whatever the amount of time it was, there was a real need for Western medicine at the time,
Hmm.
very acute.
Right.
But also along the way, you have found alternatives that also can enhance people's life. So I think that that's important for people to understand and for you to expand upon that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I have this caveat over and over is I'm not against Western medicine. I am not at all. That saved my daughter's life when she had
Yeah.
leukemia. But there is a coupling, a marriage that can happen even when someone's going through an acute situation.
Mhm.
Because while you do need that intervention, you can support through it or after it. And I do work with people that are in acute situations, and we work together with their conventional medicine doctor, and it's a beautiful thing, and I see it happening more and more. You hear of
Mhm.
it, and it's not a one size fits all. And that's why I love how we came up with the concierge, because you have to understand the person as a whole, and you have to ask the
Mhm.
questions, and you don't just want to sit in an office with a medical professional at a keyboard and typing in, okay, this is your symptom, hit a button, and okay, here's what you're going to take. It's really coming down to managing yourself, taking responsibility, because you know conventional or Western medicine is really kind of sick care, because you don't really go to your doctor and say, hey, I feel great. How can I keep feeling great?
Yes.
But when you talk about holistic health or integrative health, and it's called integrative because it integrates traditional Chinese medicine, ancient Ayurvedic medicine, nutrition. So it's integrative. It's not just one thing. That's why it's called integrative, but it's really holistic. You can even just say natural, but whatever. But when you talk about wanting to age well and have
Mhm.
longevity, and even if your genetics say you're not going to, that doesn't mean that you're not going to live a long, healthy life. It just means you have to understand what your genetics are telling you, and how can we support you through that. Um,
Mhm.
it's one of those things where I think that every person, even if they are in what they think is the epitome of health, it's taking a look at 20, 30 years down the road, and what am I doing today that's going to,
Mhm.
keep me going and becoming a centenarian. We all have that ability. And it's just you just have to, support yourself through it and understand what you're doing in your 20s and 30s dramatically affects your 50s and 60s. And,
Yeah.
it's no longer I'm working for my beach body anymore. I am working for my 80-year-old body.
Oh, don't I know about acute health issues? I mean,
Yes,
this
and you
entire
do.
developing this network, I would just say that, I mean, thank goodness for Western medicine, as you
Hmm.
say, in terms of myself personally
Yeah.
throughout this last year. But what excites me is to help really start to get to the core root of what's
Hmm.
gone on with me, and that this is not a show about my health. However, I
Well,
have
it's
had some
important though.
very, very acute,
Hmm.
dangerous, if you will, health issues, and I still am dealing with them. So to know that there's some other root causes out there and some other things to explore that can help support the shifts that I've already made with the
Hmm.
conventional medicine is, it's very, what would be the word for it? It makes one feel very peaceful
Hmm.
inside to know that there's other
Yes.
options. because
Yeah.
you mentioned the word anxiety earlier about your journey and coming forward to do this show, having unknown health conditions and having, in my case, my walking impaired for over a year now,
Hmm.
it can be very anxiety ridden.
Right.
And so to know that there's root causes to get to help this is really
Mm.
it's fulfilling and
Yeah.
creates peace. And that's why I think what you're doing is so important. And not only have you come forward with this show, but you've come forward in participating in two books along the way, really talking about the mindset of health.
Hmm.
And I love that you were just recently, a month or so ago, maybe 6 weeks at this point, in New York. And there you were. I saw you in Times Square on the bill with bringing forward this notion of exactly what your show is called. Hello, Your Health is Calling. People are getting warning signs of what is going on with them, and sometimes they go unrecognized
Right.
or recognized but unattended to. And I
Yeah.
think that's the place people really need to start is
Yeah.
in this reinvention process. What is it that they're getting warning signs of that they're ignoring? Just like
Right.
you always say, the warning
Yeah.
light on the dashboard in the car.
Right. And I do talk about the check engine light of your life because everyone can relate to getting in their car, turning it on, and that check engine light is bright red. And there's a statistic that 30% will take it to the mechanic right away, and 70% will just continue driving around, hoping, praying, all the things until the car breaks down. And we treat our
Mhm.
bodies the same way, and so there's 70% of us driving around with cars that are getting ready to break down. And so, we have to pay attention. And I think that there's fear around it. If you think about your car, the fear immediately comes in, oh my gosh, how much is this going to cost me? And so if you take it in right away, it could be a couple $100 fix. But if you wait until your car stops, then it could be thousands. And people treat their health the same way. They're fearful of, oh gosh, I'm feeling this. I don't want to go to my doctor because they're going to give me bad news. And yet if you pay attention and you know take some kind of steps towards figuring out why your body is giving you that signal. Your body's not messing up. Everybody says my body hates me. It doesn't. Your body wants to survive, and so it's giving you these signals to say hello. you know I'm
Yeah.
calling. And so paying attention. And it's not inexpensive to take care of your health proactively. That's and I
Mhm.
think that that's what stops a lot of people is they're not willing to make that investment in their health because we've been so conditioned that we have to go to a doctor, we have to go through insurance, and that's the only way I'm going to get well. And sadly, the way that our healthcare system is a little bit bad right now, all it's going to do is cover up your symptom with a band-aid, and then that band-aid causes another wound when you rip it off. So then you've got another band-aid. And so you just keep going on this thing where you just keep taking medication after medication and put band-aid after band-aid, and you're not getting to that root cause of what's happening. And if you had addressed it very early on, it could have been an extremely simple fix. So, if anybody's on Instagram or Facebook, I just did a whole story series about this and, why there's so much confusion and why there's half truths and, you know, digging into the root cause with just some easy functional lab testing. Let's figure it out. Everything's figure outable.
Yeah. And I think there's an element for a lot of people. I know my own clients when I talk to them and when we get on any kind of discussion about health. I myself personally have experienced this as well, is we get used to how we feel. And over
Yeah.
time, we begin to think that what we're feeling is fine because we don't necessarily know anymore what optimum health should
Mm-hmm.
feel like. And I think there's a conditioning. I love that word that you used.
Mm-hmm.
There's a conditioning of, oh, well, you're getting older. Oh, well, you shouldn't anticipate feeling young anymore. Oh, your skin should feel like this. Your body should feel like this. You should, it's okay if you're feeling some aches and pains, whatever the case may be. And the truth is, like you said, not only does your body want to survive, but your body really wants to thrive. And
Mm-hmm.
there is no reason, as you say, in your 20s and 30s, what you're doing is going to translate later into your 50s and 60s, but there's ways to become more vibrant. And I think that's what people need to understand is we don't need to settle. And whether that's
No.
settling with one's health or any of the other aspects that we talked about, I think we don't settle in other areas of our life, but when it comes to our own health, we just
Mm-hmm.
think it's okay to be tired in the afternoon or not to keep up with things.
I know, and it's crazy that, I mean, I've heard this spoken over me even, that you go in and talk to a physician and they say, well, at your age, it's like that makes me so angry. I mean, I know I'm not, 40 anymore, but I don't want someone telling me that this is happening because of my age. I want them to say, how's your diet? Are you exercising? Are you getting sunlight? It's like there's so many things that go into the problems versus an age thing. So, and I'm here to tell people, you can age very gracefully and very vibrantly. There's examples all over the place. You see people in their 90s doing marathons. And there's a woman in my neighborhood, there's a lot of hiking trails around. She
Mhm.
is 74. She's a double
Yeah.
amputee from the knees down, and she walks these trails. You
Wow.
know, and it's because she has continued. She was very active before this happened, and
Mhm.
she just made the mindset that she was just going to continue. And so
Yeah.
it is possible. It is so possible. I just finished a certification in longevity. We studied the longest living people in the world. There's nothing hard about it. There really isn't. And that's what I really want my clients or anybody who listens to this to understand, that there's nothing hard about it. It's just making up your mind.
Exactly. Well, we could talk all day about this. I just want to congratulate you once again on that milestone of your year. I
So
am
exciting.
very excited about year two, the plans that we've laid out, and what
Mhm.
this is going to look like for you, and this expansion
Yeah,
of what you've done in year one. Year two isn't going to be recognizable when we celebrate that year. So, how do people find you? I think this is one of the most important things as we
right.
wrap up the show.
And I think that just sending me an email to support at helloyourhealthiscalling.com is really the easiest. You know, um, you need to put out how people can reach you too, because I would not be here if it were not for you. So please, give yourself a little help here too. So,
I would I love to have conversations with people. I have them all day long. People can reach me at info@thereinventedlife.com. It is also the easiest way to find me. But I want to thank you for bringing this important subject forward and bringing all your knowledge. Um, Again, I can't wait for year two. We've only just begun, as they say. And
Absolutely.
I love it.
Mhm.
Support at helloyourhealthiscalling.com.
Yes, we've
I
even
really,
talked about doing events, so maybe that's on the
yeah,
horizon.
that,
So
that is
stay tuned.
definitely on.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. And remember, if your health is calling, please answer it. Your health is not a hobby. You have one body to live in. So answer the call.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health is calling.